everybody. This is another episode of the Nutrition Club. It's provided by Community Health Programs. My name is Hannah Patterson, and welcome to my parents' Airstream. So, this week's going to be pretty different because we're not actually going to be doing a recipe. This week starts our CSA shares with our farmers. So, a CSA share with our farmers, for those of you that are with our Nutrition Club, should already know that we put together bags through the farmers, and they put all sorts of foods that they have grown, and they basically just make a bag for you, and eventually I'll be starting some recipes for you. But today is going to be more so about how to store some of your foods and how to wash them, and just a safe way of preserving all of these foods. So it's very different. But what I did was I actually cleaned out my kitchen for you. So you're gonna get a quick sneak peek of the before and after of my refrigerator. And I scrubbed it all out like crazy. And I actually went to the store and got a few of the same things that you'll be getting in your CSA shares, in your bags, your food bags. So stay tuned and watch what I do so that you know how to keep your vegetables and fruits fresh and being able to stay in that fridge as long as possible before they start going bad. So, check it out. So here I am cleaning out my fridge. Pardon my dog. Alright, so starting off, I have a special cloth that I use to scrub all of my vegetables and my fruits. So the CDC actually advises that you wash them with just water instead of soapy water because it's not necessarily good for your vegetables. But it is still good to make sure to wash them with water. And here I'm scrubbing my fruits. And I had a special container for my blueberries. Sometimes they also come in special plastic containers where you can rinse them out and kind of just let them drain out. Same thing goes with my little tomatoes. Alright, and then I'm washing the rest of my vegetables. I make sure that I take all of the rubber bands off and get in between everything. And even with my celery, I pieced it all apart. Here I took off all of my rubber bands for the scallions. Yep, I pieced apart all of my celery. And then also I took a soft brush to my cucumbers just to make sure that all of that dirt is kind of scrubbed off. Because if you think about it, all these vegetables have been grown in dirt, so they're going to be a little dirty, which is perfectly fine. And I also made sure to super scrub all of my root vegetables, which is my sweet potato, my carrots, and my radishes. So the sweet potatoes, they can be pretty dirty. They have lots of little grooves and stuff like that. So I make sure to scrub them really well, pick off all those little things, all those little hairs. The same goes for the carrots. And I actually have this rag where if I scrub it hard enough, it'll take off all that dirt and the peel. And I make sure to also scrub all of my fruits really well. And here I have my lettuce in a colander. I pieced out all of the lettuce, took it all apart basically, and gave everything a good rinse. Because there tends to be a lot of dirt hidden in a lot of those little nooks and crannies. Alright, and I actually took the roots off, and I saved them. What I like to do is like to try to save the roots, if that's possible. If there's any roots that I find, I take them, put them in a little bit of water off to the side, because like with the lettuce and the celery, it could actually grow back. And here I got a special salad spinner for you guys. Not everybody's going to have a salad spinner, which is okay, but this just helps dry them quicker. So if not, you can let your colander just sit and dry all of your lettuce ahead of time, and that way everything's washed and ready to go, but also not soaking wet. So this salad spinner, basically, I'm pumping it and it spins around really fast, and it causes all of that water to separate from my lettuce. Yep. There we go. So what happens is all of that water ends up in the bottom of that bowl, and I dump that. All right, so here's my cucumbers. I finished drying them. I make sure all of my vegetables and everything are nice and dry before I start to store them. So my little trick with cucumbers is I take a plastic container, put some paper towels at the bottom, and put those down there. Just because all that moisture will get in those napkins and they're gonna last a little longer. So I made sure that's all dry. My bananas. A cool trick to make them last longer is take either tin foil or even plastic wrap and wrap it around that top root where they all combined, the end of the banana. And then for some reason, it just lasts so much longer. And I keep those out. I don't put those in the fridge. Same as my apple, my limes, and I even do that with my sweet potatoes. But if it's humid, you can put it in the fridge if you have room for it. And I personally like my tomatoes nice and warm. I snack on those like crazy. I love tomatoes. Okay. Now here are my onions. I like to actually prep a lot of my stuff ahead of time. So I cut up all of my onions and I'm going to be storing them so that when I go to use them for cooking, they're actually going to be ready and good to go, and I can just take them right out of that jar. So just cutting it, chopping it all up. If you have time to do this. A lot of people don't, but sometimes if you take the time to do this ahead, it really actually helps save in time for dinners. You can get things done a lot faster. All right, and I store them all in my mason jars. I love mason jars. Look at that, all prepped and ready to go. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same with my peppers. Take the insides out. Just gonna prep all these ahead of time because it's perfect for all these salads. Okay. And of course, I like to put things to the side for all of my chickens. They love those peppers. Makes things so much easier, and it's more accessible to have all these prepped and ready, especially for salads. Because then you don't have to take forever, pull out your cutting board and make all these dishes and stuff. Having this all prepped and ready to go, you just take it all out of the fridge, throw it together, and you have a salad. See, nice peppers, all ready to go. All right, and now my celery. I like to make them into little celery sticks. I actually like to bake these into kind of little snacks. So it's prepping snacks ahead of time. Instead of walking around the whole kitchen looking around for some kind of snack to eat, I prep those and cut them up into little pieces ahead of time, and then I'll store them and eat them after. And these are my radishes, so I'm taking the tops and the bottoms off. And then I'm slicing them into little pieces that I can just throw right on top of my salad. Radishes are really great for salads. So, putting all my celery away in one container. There we go. And all of my radishes in another container. And prepped and ready for salads. But the trick is to keep it lasting longer and not turning color is I add water to it actually. That way they stay nice and fresh. Look at that. Perfect. All right. So, got a couple things here. Let's see. I add water to my mason jars. Just enough for everything to kind of sit, the roots and the ends to just sit in so they don't end up going bad. And I had actually cut the ends off of my asparagus and then I put them and store them just like that. And same as my kale and my scallions. But what I did do with my kale later on is I actually put a plastic bag over top of it. That way it stores better. And I'll put them in the fridge just like that. Now my carrots, I cut off the roots and the ends of all of them. And I had already scrubbed them so much with my special scrubby that it actually counts as peeling it. Or you could just peel them ahead of time, which is really useful. and I chop them into little pieces. This is just more meal prep, so later on when I'm cooking a soup or something, I'll be able to just throw them right in instead of taking my whole cutting board out and everything. Put them in a little jar. Made some carrot sticks for snacks. Let's see here. And then I'm going to add some water to this. So all root vegetables are really great to store in water. They last so much longer. So I did that with my radishes. I actually did do that with my celery. And then with the carrots, and they last much longer. Okay, here I actually got myself a cantaloupe. I love cantaloupes in the morning. So I cut her all up and I put her in a little jar, and I have that all prepped for mornings. I just take some out and it's good to go. Awesome. Love it. All right, and here's my salad, the rest of my lettuce. So what I do is I store it. I try to make sure that I put a paper towel down into a plastic container, not the metal container, just because of temperature reasons. But the lettuce will actually stay better if you put paper towel at the end of it. And also made sure that all my fruit is nice and drained. And here is my after video of what my fridge looks like. Pretty awesome. So organized. I love it. How awesome is that? And then I have all my stuff prepped up top there. All good to go. Awesome, right? Perfect. Fridge goals. All right, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed this show. And if you have any input as to whether it was helpful at all, please comment below. And also comment below if you have your own kind of techniques of how you preserve food or how you organize your fridge even. Take it maybe even as a project to clean out your whole fridge before you have your CSA shares and have everything prepped and ready to go. And then send us your photos. So I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next week. Bye.